Good morning everybody and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, I'm in a different location today, in my kitchen. And I've got my Disney Cath Kidston apron on with all my little Disney characters on. Because I'm about to do a spot of Christmas baking. Now, this is actually an experimental piece of baking because a few weeks ago my dad got a cake tin, which is like a Snowman 3D sort of cake tin, where you actually pour the batter into the cake tin at the top, and then you flip it over and you put it in the oven, and it should bake and look like a 3D snowman, and then you can decorate it and ice it however you wish. But the plan is for us to do that on Christmas Eve and have one each with my brother, who's going to come back home, and we're going to have one each, so 4 little snowmen. But Dad wants me to test it out to make sure that actually it does work, and that it's the right temperature, the right amount of eggs, that sort of stuff. Because baking things in a shape in a particular cake mold can sometimes be difficult, because actually you don't necessarily know if it's going to bake correctly. Usually the outside will burn and the inside will be molten still. So it's a balancing act. So I'm going to follow the recipe that's on the box and see what happens, and hopefully it all turns out okay. And I thought it'd be a perfect opportunity to film a Vlogmas video. So this is going to be for you guys. I'm going to get myself sorted. I've just washed the little cake tin, which is sitting here. There he is. So I've just washed the cake tin, and now I'm going to prep all my ingredients, and I'm going to be using a KitchenAid mixer. I am cheating slightly. Let me just show you the mixer. This is our KitchenAid. It's a beautiful colour. And I'm going to be using this because I'm not really feeling the effort of having to mix it all manually by hand. So, so that's what we're using here. So yeah, I'm going to prep my ingredients, and I'm just going to show you guys what I'm doing. So I know the light's a little bit dodgy because I've got the door behind me, but I've just washed my KitchenAid bowl, and I'm going to start by using the butter and the sugar. And I'm quite literally just going to put them straight into the bowl because it makes sense that way. So it's 125 grams of each, butter and caster sugar. Okay, so I let it run for a very long time because it means that the batter is now really pale. If you do it for not long enough, it ends up being kind of like a yellowy colour rather than white. You want it to be more of a white colour. Okay, so what I've done is I've scraped the top off and I'm putting it back in the oven to see what happens. What a palaver. He looks cooked, and then there's some bits on the side that I had to scrape off. But I've got to leave him for 5 minutes, and then I'll take him out and see what he looks like. Okay, here we go. Still quite warm. This is a bit anticlimactic. No, can't get it out. More to the point, I can't get the two parts apart. I think it's possibly because it's slightly caramelized and kind of stuck them together. Oh, it's coming. No. Right, back end of the snowman is half stuck to the pan. His back end is a little bit stuck on. Mum. I think I greased it so well. Oh, it's still warm. Say hi to my vlog, by the way.
Oh, hi.
She's just licking her cake. Oh, it's stuck.
Why don't you get a knife?
Because I don't want to scratch the whatever it's called, this non-stick. Oh no, don't. Ironically, the non-stick. This wasn't the intention of my video. Okay, right, move the knife out of my head.
I mean, you know, to be fair,
Huh.
an ordinary Victoria sponge would have been easier. Let's just have cake. Doesn't matter whether it looks like a snowman or not. You see, it's almost going to be...
Oh, it's just funny.
I feel this isn't going to be awfully successful.
Just gonna have to
I'm going back to the tree.
Oh no. Okay, let me try and get his head out.
I think we can safely say that hasn't worked.
Yeah, that didn't work. Okay, well it looks and smells good. As in cake wise, not snowman wise.
It smells good. I'm not sure it looks good.
No, it looks like cake though, is kind of what I was trying to say. Right, I might have to try again at some point. Right, so this is my snowman. There isn't even a face. It's like a really bad murder scene. Like you know in the murder mysteries, Mum?
Yeah.
Where someone's murdered so badly that they don't know what their face looks like. That's kind of what it looks like. This is the body. It's just texted and said, how's the cake gone?
So send him a picture and said...
I would send him a picture and be like, you tell me.
I think it was quite good.
I think it's really successful. Anyway, let's have a look at the box and see what it's supposed to look like. Oh, yeah.
All things considered.
Oh, what a mess. Well, as you can see, the cake was an absolute disaster. It tastes good. It tastes like cake. and it smells good. And if it had come out of the mould perfectly, then actually it would have been really good. It's just the fact that it did not come out of the mould. I greased it really, really well, put loads and loads and loads of butter on it. I wasn't sure if that was actually the issue, whether it had somehow sort of burnt and caramelised and made it stick or something like that. I'm not really sure. Potentially I'll try again before Christmas Eve to make sure that we get these snowmen on Christmas Eve. But as you've heard Mum say, perhaps a Victoria sponge would be a little bit easier. So yeah, you might see me make it again at some point during a vlog. But if not, you will know that this is how the disaster happens. Don't do it like I did. But thank you very much for joining me on my disastrous journey through cake, and I will see you all again in the next vlog. Bye.